Hey guys, how you doing? This is Gavin with REI Network. I have an awesome guest for you today. Just before I introduce him, if you want to get my downloads, I've got some downloads on my website. Go to reinetwork.com/downloads, reinetwork.com/downloads. We've got a script, cold calling, a lead sheet, a few things there that's going to help you in your business. So go and get that. I'm actually traveling right now. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. We're in the RV, and it's pretty awesome. Been working from here all week, and that's what it's all about. You know, for me anyway, is to be able to travel and work. You know, when I want, with who I want, wherever on my time, and that's kind of why I love this business. Which brings me on to one of my coaching clients. I want to introduce him, Brian Landers. Brian, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I appreciate you. We just had a coaching call here, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to do a quick podcast?" And you were like, "Sure." So here we are. I kind of threw him in the deep end here, but we just had a great call, and um, Brian's. We're going to get into his story and his background, and but what you're going to hear from this is, he's done his first deal and had to adapt in terms of the way that this deal happened to get more money. So grats on that. He's got another one under contract with his partner. And we're just going to talk about the model that we kind of went with and why we did that. But before we get there, so Brian, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you live, and let's start there.
Cool. I've been in IT for 16 years and currently work for Adobe. And live, we just built a house here in Lehi, Utah. And the reason we built here was to be about a mile from work. Adobe, I'm about a mile from work, but now everyone works from home and that doesn't matter. So
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Utah, beautiful. I know we were messaging. You've just been down to southern Utah,
yeah,
correct?
yeah,
For a vacation. Amazing. I've been all over, but I've not been to Utah, which
yeah.
is ridiculous because
It
it's
it'll
beautiful.
blow your mind. Bryce, you need to that picture I sent you.
Yeah.
Bryce is probably one of the most important parks to ever see, and you need to make sure you get there. My grandpa, while we were there, he says we walked up to Inspiration Point, and he said, "I'll forget everything else, but I'll never forget this."
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's one of them, when you send a picture, it just doesn't do it justice. I
Right.
say the same like about the Grand Canyon, and you
Yeah.
can take pictures all you want. Yeah, it just doesn't. You got to see it to
Yeah.
kind of believe it,
Yeah.
and so it's definitely a spot that I do want to get to. So you built a new house, and you're working still full time.
Yep.
We got working together, I don't know, 3 months, 3.5 months, 4 months, something like
It's
that.
been a bit. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
April.
Yeah. And you have got a similar model to kind of what I use, is that you've got a full-time job, and we decided that this business is hard, and how are we going to make money the fastest way. So what we decided to do was to obviously go virtual. Not in Utah. Utah's a tough market and higher price point. So we decided to go virtual, and we decided to kind of get a partner on the ground and do so you could do less work, right? Put systems in place so you got someone else doing the work for their time, and you had the system that we built in place and kind of tried to, manage. Do you say that's fair?
Yeah. Yep.
So tell
Exactly.
us, how's that been, and just tell us about kind of the deal that you're doing and working on, and kind of how you found it and what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's scary at times, especially early on, and stressful. When you're sitting there like, crap. I need something to come out of this.
Yeah,
And scary. Scary is a word that I would use.
yeah,
But we ended up getting a few under contract, and that was exciting. And one of them kind of fell through, but this one that we're actually in the depths of, uh, it was ARV was supposedly around, and we actually consulted with a realtor to get proper comps and stuff.
yeah,
ARV was supposedly around 185, and we got it under contract for 97.
Nice.
And so we're sitting there like, well, hey, that's pretty solid,
Yep.
And so we were full steam ahead, about to wholesale it and just go ahead and do that. Probably pull 10K out of it or so. That was gonna be
Yep.
great. But I kind of thought, what if we bought it and did the work ourselves?
Yeah.
And then we sell it full retail. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of referred to as wholesale, maybe. Something along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, hotels where, normally with a hotel you buy it and then you put it straight back on.
I see.
Maybe do a little lipstick on it, like
Yeah.
maybe a couple of grand, a bit of paint, stick it
Yeah.
straight back on the market and sell it straight away.
Well,
I guess you put
about 10. It's ended up being about 13 or 14K that we put in. Which still ain't bad if you think about the price point we got in at. We're at about 115, and we've literally got it under contract for 190 right now. And so
nice. And that's going to give you overall, obviously, your partner's money and everything else, but about 60K.
Yeah.
So that's awesome on your first deal. But the important thing is that you can hand pick if you're going to flip. Any flippers that I work with, and you wasn't a flipper, we were wholesaling. That's what we did.
Yeah.
But obviously when one comes across, I teach everyone that I work with that if it makes sense and you want to go them extra steps to then expand that spread, then you can do that. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you should be handpicking. Again, I do a lot of wholesale, and I can't tell you how many times like we've thought about buying it, but you do have to run the team. It doesn't, and share any stories that you have. But for me, it doesn't always go to plan, right? When you're dealing with people and contractors. Now, for the good thing is that you've actually done a very, very smart flip because you're only putting 13,000 in, right?
Yeah.
So that's worked great, and your spreads are there that if you would have uncovered things and it would have gone to 25, you were still making money.
Yeah.
Right. It was kind of the numbers, and this is why it's better to get offline than buying off the MLS, because the numbers were like you could have had a disaster and still made money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we looked at.
Yeah. I should probably speak to how we even did it, because well, like, of course, I didn't have 100K sitting around. So I actually, what I did is I've heard people talk about quote unquote private money before, but I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't seem real, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, so I ended up, we were about to wholesale it, and then I just texted a wealthy friend of mine and just said, hey, what do you think about this as a deal? I'll cut you in as a partner, and just help me buy this cash, help me fund the reno, and then we'll sell it and we'll all make some money. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So about 2 weeks later, he wired the money, and then I used his money to do the reno. So I didn't really, towards the end, so when we ran out of money, I put some of my own in, but not much, and most of it was not my money.
Yeah, and and just when you say put money in, I think you're talking what you said, 3,000-4,000 of yours. So, just to finish a few bits up. But here's the thing as well. Just on that, I'm sure I know you, and you would have just been like, "Oh, I'll do it." But if you would have gone to him and said, "We need 3,000 or 4,000 more," he would have given you 3,000 or 4,000 more.
That's true. That's true.
You just didn't ask.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but you're getting that back out, and like I said, the spreads on that, I think there's 3 of you kind of in the deal on this, but that's fantastic on your first deal. So congratulations on that. But let's talk about how you actually found the deal, and why we entered, what market we went into. Why did you choose that market? Who did you find on the ground? And what does that kind of, look like to get in this deal?
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously you helped me set the system up and begin lead gen in it. All went into a CRM, and my local guy, the market that I chose was Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the reason I chose that market is because I grew up there. And so I am kind of familiar with the areas, although, it's been a while, but I'm familiar enough to be able to get around, and if someone that I'm talking to asks me, hey, what this and this, and I know geographically where it is, I would feel comfortable with that. And then the guy I found on the ground, he lives there. So obviously, if there's an appointment that needs to take place or whatever, he would head on out to do that. He's primarily the one that's actually working the leads, so he actually calls the leads and works them. And then that's where this deal came from. So he ends up getting a hold of this lady after he talked to the VA you set me up with, or after she talked to me to the VA you set me up with, and then he called her and just kind of at first, she was at like 140.
Yeah.
And really just, I hadn't seen the place or whatever, and we initially started trying to go creative with it. And I was like, cool, well, I'll give you a couple grand as a down, because she was just like, I need some money, and we'll do a payment over time, and balloon it at 7 or 10 years or something along those lines. And then was going to do it's similar to a sandwich lease option, I guess, really was my exit goal. But honestly, as well, and she ended up saying, well, no, I really just need the cash. I just need the big lump, and we were like, well, if we're doing a lump, we need to come way down, like 90 is what. And this is, he did all the negotiating. I didn't do this. So he's like, well, if we're doing lump sum, we need to come down to like 90, and she ended up talking him back up to about 97. And, so that's kind of the negotiation that took place. So he got her down from 140 to 97.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me just pick up a couple of things up here. So we have motivation, because there's a key thing you said. She said, I need money.
Yeah.
So you guys, but the price doesn't match. So right now, there's 4 pillars that we look for, right? Number 1 is situation motivation. Number 2 is price. Number 3 is timeline. Number 4 is condition. Okay, they're the things on a phone call that we're trying to get out to see where position. So what's happening is that we've got motivation. She needs to sell, right? And I don't know obviously the backstory of why, but she needs money, right? So we know that. But we have a high price, and so the price is too high, but the motivation is she needs money, and then the timeline is she wants to do something as quick as possible, right?
Yeah, she was like, we need to close in like 3 weeks. Like this, I've got to get out of here. And I was like, I don't know if we can do that, and we'll try. We're at that point, obviously thinking we're just going to wholesale it. But we did close in about 3 weeks, but with my private money. So
So, but what's good there is that you've gone down a journey to say, okay, no problem, Mrs. Seller, we can get you the price of 140, but we got to do it over terms, right? Yeah. And then what happens is because you're meeting, this is really, really important, because you did this. And I know you did some of the, I think, phone work as well.
Oh, I did, yeah. So I was the one that talked about the terms with her.
The terms, because he didn't know, again, so you stepped in on the terms. Great positioning by saying, no problem, we can make this work. We'll give you a couple of thousand to give you a bit of cash, but we need to do a higher price. Obviously, then she's like, no, she then decided, I got to cash out. So now the price has to be dropped like you did to match her needs. Because what you offered was you perfectly offered something that matched her price needs, but did not match her urgency of sale. Okay. Yeah. So something's got to give. Right. Yeah. And then that's her decision. Price, terms, right? Yep. What do you want? Well, I want my price, but you got to wait for it. We can make that happen. Oh no, I got to get it now. Well, we got to drop. And I think for people to understand that in terms of a negotiation is that you follow down one path that makes most sense to solve the problem. And then as soon as you realize and the seller realize actually the price and actually getting money now is way more important than the price of getting more money. I'll take less because I need it now, right, is what I'm trying to say. And that's what a motivated seller looks like, right? Yeah. Where you've just gone from 140,000, you've just dropped it like 43 grand to get this deal done. And she's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. Right.
Well, and good thing too, because after we really got in and really dug our, well, I should give credit, I physically was not there, obviously. So my partner there locally, yes, as he kind of rolled up his sleeves and dug in, like, man, that place was a mess. And if we were trying to just straight up do lease option,
Yeah.
the exit, like, no one would have wanted to be in there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking like cat pee on the floors and like soaked into the carpet.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was rough. It was rough. It needed work.
Yeah, that's crazy. And again, that's something that you uncovered as you got in, right? Because this is virtual. So had you seen it at this point or not?
I mean, pictures, my partner had been there and stuff, but I don't think he realized necessarily like how, like, I think maybe in his head he thought, well, we'll get a carpet clean or whatever. But I mean, as we really dug up, as he dug the carpets up, pulled them up, it was like, nah, we can't clean these. We
Yeah.
have to, and we replaced it with hardwood. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice. Okay, good. So, well, that's good for everyone, to kind of see how a deal can actually, why you should have multiple options. And also with your model, again, same as what I use, is that you got the guy on the ground that isn't experienced with creative financing. So you have to step in, right?
yeah,
Because again, that's what we talk about. A lot of people just want you to go, oh yeah, make 3 offers. Person on the ground that knows just how to do a cash offer, right? And then it breaks down. So you stepping in and getting there kind of probably won the deal, or certainly helped it, because you had to get there to then get that renegotiation happening. Okay.
yeah, and that it took a couple days too. So
Yeah.
we actually kind of had her on the hook for the creative, and she was stoked. We thought, and she came back and she said, "Never mind." And that's the point when we were like, "All right, but we got to come way down."
Yeah. That's awesome. And you've not seen this house, you've not been to that market,
No,
right?
no.
This whole
I
process.
mean, yeah, no. I'm like I said, my family's there. I'm gonna go there at Christmas. I may try and drive by, but obviously we have sold
Yeah,
it,
close
so.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
But the difference is that you don't need to be local,
no,
and
of
that's the
course,
thing,
of course.
And I think that's a lot of people's, hiccup sometimes, especially on the rehab side. That's why I wanted to do this episode with you, because not only can we wholesale, but we can do deals, we can do rehabs virtual, right? It's all about who is managing it. Who did manage? Was your guy on the ground kind of managing the process of contractors and letting people in and things like that?
It was a combination, So as far as gaining access, we had a lockbox, and
Right.
there was a certain amount of trust there, that they were going to get the job done right, which they didn't. So of course, you know, as far as on the ground, he would swing in, kind of surprise them or whatever, and just kind of double check things. And it was really good to have someone physically there to be like, nah, these floors are not right. We need to talk
Yeah.
about this. So it was nice to have someone there to be able to do that. And then, then him and I would kind of consult and discuss, hey, well, what do we want to do about this? This didn't go right. All right. Um, and then I was the the whole thing. So
Yeah.
if a contractor needed to get paid or whatever, in fact, even yesterday, we had a couple things on the list. The buyer, when you sell and they're like, hey, we need these 3 or 4 things done. So one of them was to fix a garage door opener. And so I helped facilitate getting that to happen. And then my boots on the ground guy, he actually went to the place to facilitate access to make sure it got installed right. And then I paid the guy.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's flips though, right? Again, I get anyone on here and just make out this is easy. I mean, doing a virtual flip is impressive, and but again, having the right people on the ground, and it's the people business. That's why I wholesale, because
Yeah.
when you get into contractors, I do it my wife kind of manages it in Savannah, so I don't have to do it. But we've had a problems, people not showing up, not doing a good job, just being lazy,
Well, I'll
sloppy.
say we've learned a lot on the flip side from this. And at least out loud, we say, all right, well, we definitely want to obviously do wholesaling, but if the right flip comes up again, we'll do it again. But we'll take what we've learned from this and apply it and do better.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you've got another contract now, another contract
Yeah.
on another
Yeah.
house, and you're going to wholesale that one.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I don't think I've talked to you too much about it, but it's oh, I don't know all the numbers right off the top. I think it's ARV around 70-ish, and I think we're under contract for about 17. But it is pretty rough. And so I don't know. Let me ask you what you think about this. So the yard work, I mean, it is like way overgrown, especially in the back and the front. It's just like the yard is awful. Um, and then inside it's pretty rough. Anyways, my partner was talking to me about it, and he kind of said, well, hey, maybe we put a couple $100 into this to clean it up, get the yard work done, kind of clean it up so it presents a little bit better, so that we can, when as people are coming in to look at it, potential actual buyers that are going to pay us our fee or whatever, are not so taken aback. So anyways,
Yeah.
is that a reasonable thing to do?
Absolutely. Yes, but you need to make sure that it will make money in the condition that it is.
Okay.
Right. So if you said to me, we can make 7 grand on this, should we now clean the yard? Yes, because now it probably he'll get 10
Yeah.
because of that, right? Because it's going to present in a different way. What you don't want to do is put a few hundred in, get it cleaned up, and then someone says, I'll pay you 10 for it.
Yeah.
And it's not a deal. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's almost like you need to kind of create, like, knowing your numbers, like, is this solid comps? Maybe send it to kind of a buyer saying, hey, in this area, this is kind of the pictures of the inside, and not the out, not the disaster out. And if he's like, oh, absolutely, I want in, and you've got it up for 25,000, right? So you're going to make $8,000. Then I would probably say, yeah, if there's no, then I would probably do it. So
Okay.
if you're confident that you can make something on it, then 100% do it. Yes, I would.
Okay. All right.
But that's my only concern. I've had people, we've done it in ourselves when we get things 17 and then all of a sudden we need it 5,000.
Yeah.
Right. So it wouldn't have been a cleanup could anything have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I would do on that.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, good. I appreciate you, getting on. What would you tell someone? Obviously, it took about, 3 months doing this, and but you're working a full-time job, so you've got someone on the ground, you're working, you're building a team, you're relying on others to make this happen. Someone that's starting off, like, and the experiences and the what you've gone through and the wins, the challenges, like, what would you tell someone like starting off? Like, what would you say that to what experience have you had that they should do, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So it's finding your local guy is very important, and uh, there's a balance. You want to find someone that's a little bit newbie that has done some deals, but is maybe not so keen on wanting to even do the legwork for the marketing to generate leads, but willing to work leads that have been generated.
Yeah.
But at the flip side, you don't want someone that is so established they're already pulling 100 grand a month, and well, what do my little leads even mean to him? Probably not much. So you got to find something in between there. And I would say be patient in finding that person. Like, be willing to interview lots of people, and find someone that fits that criteria. Maybe define that criteria ahead of time that you are looking for, and establish it. And then as you're interviewing people, be willing to go ahead and move on. And we talked about this. I'm going to establish another market. I like my guy, and I think that we have some growth room ahead of us. But I am going to establish another market and maybe be a little more diligent about picking my boots on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, 100% agree. So basically, you don't want someone that's already killing it, because yeah, they're happy to work with you, but you're always at second best, right? They'll get to your leads when they're ready and when they get busy and they've got closings, and you're waiting, right? You can't have that. And for me, it's all about personality and work ethic and trust, and someone a trier, right? Someone that's a doer, and someone that's going to get it done and learn, and you can mold then and build and grow together. And you're exactly right. You can't put someone together that loves systems and marketing, wants to sit at home. You need the
Yeah.
guy that's like, or the gal that is, I love being on the phone. I want to be talking to people. I want to, I don't want to do all the system and the marketing. That's not what I do. And then when you get them together, it obviously works like you. So we're going to look at a new market as well, for you as an addition, and then start building this up. And your goal is to obviously get as much cash as possible from wholesaling, reinvest into rental properties, start owning more in Utah. And that's kind of our game plan.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Brian, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for getting on and, sharing the story. I think people are going to, get a lot from this. I like to interview and, with my clients and work with real people. That's not saying that other people are real that we have on, but I think people will relate to this a lot more, being your first deal, being virtual, working full time, and understanding, what you can actually get from, having the systems and things in place to make money. So hopefully eventually you'll get out of your job or whatever your goals are. I think that's really important, because you're just a normal guy, doing it, and you're not a guru, or you're doing like 10 houses a month, because people just don't relate to that sometimes. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And guys, if you are interested in working with me, go to reinetwork.com/coaching, reinetwork.com/coaching, and like and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching it on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, same with the podcast, and we'll see you all soon. Brian, thanks again. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.